Okay, today is probably one of the most exciting days because look where I am right now. I am in the middle of nowhere, but oh my god, the summer has finally come. It's absolutely gorgeous out here today, and I have my 2010 Honda Civic with me, and I have finally decided to make this car great rather than buying a new one. For the past like 3 to 4 months, I've been going back and forth on whether I should keep this car or whether I should buy another car, like another sports car, so I can make more content on this channel. But then I realized that I'm getting myself into a money pit almost, because if I get another car then I have to do more mods and everything, whereas I have this car. I absolutely love this car, you guys know that, but as you guys also know, this car is not perfect. There's so much stuff to do, so I have finally decided to make a series where I'm gonna start modifying this car, gonna start addressing all the issues that I have with this car, with the hope of trying to keep this car forever, as long as I can. So with that in mind, welcome to my new series called Making My Civic Great Again. I know it sounds corny, but I couldn't really come up with a better title. And on the very first episode, we're gonna address, or we're gonna install probably the most important mod that every single car should have, and that is having a dash camera. And yes, this video is sponsored, but let me tell you about the Mango dash camera because I think you all gonna love it. Also, look where I am. It is so pretty over here, and in Alberta the summer is probably the best time of the year. And if you ever consider of like visiting Canada, visiting Alberta, just come in like probably like this time, like April, May. Okay, so with the power of editing, as you can see, I am back at my house. So I'm going to bring my car into the garage and then work on site here, because since my last clip there has been some issues that I discovered specifically with the car, not with the camera, just with my car, that I had to buy more parts in. So I'll show you guys everything over there, but first let me bring my car inside the garage so we can get started. For this install, you're going to need a lot of zip ties, and I realized I don't have any. So first, I need to go to the store and get some zip ties, and then I can start installing. So yeah, let's head to the store, get some zip ties, and let's come back in. Okay, so I'm back at home and I just laid everything that comes when you buy the Mango dash camera, so you guys have a better idea. You get a few zip ties, but you're gonna need a lot more than that. There's the instruction sheet, there's a pad for the GPS, there's a 3M tape for the camera, and this is really handy pry bar tool. There's a rear camera, there's a front camera, and you're also gonna need a multimeter for the hardwire kit and also the Mango hardwire kit. But if you have a newer car, you don't need a hardwire kit. You can just replace the interior rear view mirror mount. Okay, first things first, we need to go ahead and get rid of our old dash camera, and I'm gonna give that to my best friend because he doesn't have one. It should be relatively easy. I just need to get rid of that, and boom, there we go. Okay, so now I need to get rid of all these wiring because this one is connected to the cigarette lighter. But I want to show you guys, this is where this tool comes right in handy. So all I need to do is like stick it in, and then I can just pull it down like this, or even like this way, and then it's so easy to take the wire apart without damaging all this part inside. Just like that, I got the old one out, and now time to put the new one. So step one in installing a dash cam with hardwiring kit is to grab your hardwire kit, and then we need to find where your fuse box is. Or in my car, all I need to do is go and find my owner's manual and flip to the fuse section, and over here it shows you exactly where it is. As my car is underneath the steering column, so if I were to come right down here underneath the steering column, all the way down here is where the fuse box is. Okay, so a quick look around the hardwire kit. The red one is always going to be the positive, the yellow one is going to be the accessory mode. So you know, that's when like when you put the car in the run position, that's when it starts up. And then the black one is a ground, so you got to always make sure you ground it correctly, otherwise this whole thing's not going to work. So first thing first is to make sure our multimeter works, and to do that you got to make sure our ground works. So I'm just going to ground it to this metal piece on the door hinge over here, and then we're gonna go look at our fuse box to see what fuse to tap into. So when you get the owner's manual, you can see all the different fuses and what they do, and I'm gonna use the heated seats fuse to tap into because this car doesn't have heated seats. And when you go underneath the fuse box and tap into that fuse, you gotta make sure it has 12 volts when the car is turned off, and that means that fuse is always hot even when the car is turned off. And now I'm going to use something like a plier to take out number 5 fuse. Just like that, number 5 fuse is out. Hardwire kit comes with a lot of fuses, and now you just need to make sure the fuse you took out matches exactly with what the dash camera comes with. So you just need to basically make sure to find the perfect fuse to tap into that's same as the one you pull out. And yes, I am watching Chris Fick's video too because he's a goat. And just like that, I have successfully tapped into the fuse. All I need to do is replace the new fuse into the fuse box. Now that I have the new one tapped in, all I need to do is again make sure I tap it right in over here to the new fuse that we stick in, and then make sure it's always 1249 again. Make sure you do for both fuses that you did to make sure, you know, as extra protection basically. But yeah, once you do that, you successfully tapped in the new fuse. Okay, now all you have to do is take the hardwire, the kit we have, and then take out the red part and just make sure they are snugged right in. So you just need to stick it inside. Boom, just like that, they are both in. Just give it like a, you know, a tight squeeze and make sure it's not gonna fall off. Okay, now that the red wire is in, now it's time to tackle the yellow one. To do that, you gotta make sure when the car is not turned on, so not in the accessory mode, there's no volts coming in, so it has to be 0 but the moment you turn the key on, should get 12 volts. So basically 0 when it's off, 12 when it's on the accessory mode. So now let's go ahead and find that the fuse. Okay, I think I found the perfect one. So if you look at here at number 8, right down there, it gets 0 power when the car is off, but now I have put the car in accessory mode right here. So if I were to take this in and tap it right here, boom, look at the meter, 12 volts. So that's the perfect fuse to tap into, the yellow one. Since number 8 doesn't have a fuse, we're gonna use what we got from the hardwire kit. That's why you need to make sure you buy a hardwire kit, especially for the one that you're gonna install. So in that case, this one I made sure I got the Mango dash hardwire kit, so it's so much easier, and all these like fuses works right really good. So yeah, now I just need to tap this fuse in and make sure it still works. And now is this ground one. So you need to make sure you find an actually really metal one. Just make sure, like this one for example, I don't know, I'm not quite sure exactly it's a metal fully, so I don't want to tap that into. So you got to make sure you find a really good metal one. I was gonna use the same one, I mean that's the obvious one, right? But then again, this is the door hinge and this is a wire and I don't want to do that. So I did some digging around and I found, I'm not sure the camera can pick it up, there's one right here. The other thing is like this ground wire is not too long enough, and you also don't want to make sure it's going to be at a place where there's going to be a lot of movement. So oh my god, I also had to go and change my shirt because I had to lie down here the whole time. But yeah, after a lot of persuasion, the ground wire is also installed, so all of the 3 wires are good to go. First, before I gotta make sure the power actually comes through. So in order to check if power gets through, I need to turn on this camera. So before that, I gotta install the memory card that comes with the Mango. I just need to install it into this slot and that should give power. So let's see if that actually works. Alright guys, great news. The camera is turned on. As you guys can see, the blue light is on and boom, it's recording as well. Right now the camera is covered by this plastic piece, that's why we don't see any footage, but at least we know that there's power coming in and everything good to go. So now we can successfully go and wire it in. But oh my god, this is so exciting. Now it's time to make sure we find a good place to install the camera. So in order to do that, I just took out the protective case and then just find a place where you have the best view. To do that, I'm using the app, the live view feature of the app, to make sure I find a really good place. And once I know the good place, I'm just going to use this 3M tape that again comes with the camera, and then I can just put that 3M tape on top, find a good place to stick to the window, then I'm good to go. We have to make sure the window we are sticking the camera is very clean. So take some alcohol and spray down the area. Do not use Lysol as me. I learned my lesson in the hard way. And take a clean microfiber towel and clean the area and then stick the 3M tape in. Okay, I just stick the camera into the window and look at the quality of the video it takes. Oh my god, this is amazing. And there's so much other stuff you can do with this app, which I'll show you guys later. And now the only thing left is to get rid of all these wires so it looks like very professional. So in order to do that, you shouldn't do it starting from the fuse box. You should start from where the camera is. So I'm not going to do the rear camera and the GPS just yet. I'm first going to focus on the power cable. So all I need you to do is just take it out like that, and then just put it behind the headliner using the trim tool that we got, and just bring it all the way down here and all the way down here. So let me do that now. While I'm installing the wiring for this one, I've realized while I'm at it, let me go ahead and do the rear camera as well. So I just connected the rear camera, and now I'm all the way out here. This is the part where you got to be really careful when you're hardwiring a dash camera. This is a side airbag, so you don't want to just like push the wire in, because that would disturb the mechanism of the airbag popping off. So you always need to make sure you take out this part, this airbag off. So in order to do that, you just need to take out the weather stripping, and you should be able to just pop it off. Let me show you. Okay, as you guys can see, the A pillar is gone, and I also had to take out some of the weather stripping over here. The reason why I had to take the A pillar off is because this white part is the airbag. As you guys can see, most of the people stick the wiring inside, and sometimes that would cause, or they would get in the way like this in front of the airbag. If that's the case, if you were getting into an accident and the airbag were to deploy, then the wiring are in front of it, so that wouldn't work. So that's why you have to make sure you take it out fully, and then you run it along either one of these lines. So I just basically took some zip ties and zip tie into that, so I can just basically run it around and then just bring it down all the way around here. So that's why I had to take the A pillar off. That way you don't disrupt the airbags. Installation is done. Check it out. Once if I were to come here and look at my view, zero wires hanging around. The wires are tucked in nicely, grinding down over here. And look at the fuse box. If I were to turn the camera, look at the fuse box. Everything is tied up all nice and good. This one is also have a GPS. I'll show you guys everything in the camera and on the app in a bit, but look at this. Everything is tied up. And if I were to go to the back seat, open up the back seat, and look, the rear view camera is installed as well. Zero wires hanging around anywhere over here. So if you didn't know anything about the car, like you can't even tell a camera has been installed. So yeah, I am so happy. Oh, I gotta tuck this in, but I am super happy the way this turned out. Again, this is just episode 1 of a full series of everything that I'm gonna do to this car. And again, I want to thank the Mango dash camera for sending me this unit to me, and I'll leave a link down in the description below so you guys can check it out too. But the weather doesn't look great. It's about to rain. But now let me go for a test drive and let me show you guys how this app works. Okay, I just parked on the side of the road because I wanted to show you guys what the app can do before I head on to the highway. So currently when you open the app, the first thing you can see is the front view camera live feed coming straight from the camera. So you can see it's recording, and then by clicking this button you can see the rear view as well. So you can just switch back and forth, and here it also gives you a speedometer, because this one right here is a GPS module. So with that you can see where exactly the car is. So you can use that GPS module as something like an air tag for the car, because let's say if you're worried about not knowing where the car is, or if the car gets stolen, you can just quickly connect to the app, and then you can see where the car exactly is. So that's pretty sweet, I think. And then if you click the button here, you can see exactly on the map where your car is. And if you click this button over here, it's going to show you all of the saved camera files. And here is when you can switch from video to camera mode. And then on the settings, there's a bunch of different settings. So you can see if you want to record the sound and the speaker volume, the image resolution, video resolution, timestamp, speed units, and bunch of stuff like that. So I think the main thing with this with the app, for me personally, I think first of all the GPS module, I always wanted to add like some kind of air tag or something, just to have the peace of mind where I know exactly where my car is. But now with this dash camera setup, I get that on my phone as well. And the other cool thing is just like switching back and forth with the rear view mirror to front view mirror. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, Now let's head to the highway so I can show you guys how this feed looks like. So here I am getting on the highway, and as you can see, the footage looks really clear even on this very cloudy day. One of the most important things with the dash camera is being able to clearly identify other cars on the road and also judge your own car's width and positioning. I'm really happy with the placement of my camera, and the front camera gives a perfect wide view, which is exactly what you need. Now switching to the rear camera, you can see it's a bit darker because of the tinted rear window, but it is still very clear. You can easily make out the cars behind you, which is exactly what you need even if you were to get into a rear-end collision. But overall, I think the video quality on both cameras is excellent. So just like that, the Mango dash camera is now successfully installed on my Civic. This is my very first time working on my car, so and I'm so happy that the whole thing went so smoothly. But yeah, just like that, the car is now all good to go. Let me know what other mods you guys want to see me do next. I kind of want to do the brakes because there's some noise coming on in my car. So when I said I want to modify this car, before I do that, I want to make sure this car is mechanically sound all throughout, because it's being an old car, there's some issues with it. So like look at this part, like here I want to make sure everything is tucked in before I start doing anything like modification of the engine or to the interior and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know down in the comment sections below if what other mods you guys want to see next. But huge thanks to Mango for sending me out this unit. I'll leave a link down in the description below so you guys can go check it out. Again, as I said, like if this car wasn't to be old, this whole thing right here would be replaced with the rear mirror mount. So if you guys have a newer car, getting the Mango dash camera is a must, just because of how clean it looks. But even if you have an old camera, just like what I did, just make sure you do a just make sure you get a hardwire kit like me, and then it should be all good to go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and until then, I'll catch you guys very soon.